We used another snowy day to get a compost heating system underway in the cattle panel high tunnel in our backyard. Really beautiful still day. Lots of snow outside and relatively thawed and nice on the inside. You can see we've got raw charcoal we put in the walkway to crush with our foot traffic. A whole bunch of claytonia growing nicely in here, and started the process of digging out an old compost bin in the corner and transplanting and consolidating some of the seedlings in certain areas so we can have more contiguous bed space. I moved a whole bunch of little stray seedlings over to the east side, including claytonia and parsley, some lettuce, some arugula, and those will hopefully grow pretty nicely over there out of the way. And we left some nice green patches just as they are for us to harvest soon. Fair bit of work, but it's nice this time of year to go in, dig some aged compost and nice rich soil from some areas. I'm trying to clear out a depression on the far west end behind me there to be able to backfill with fresh raw compost that'll generate heat. And you can see as I'm digging out this old soil, I'm able to cap the bed to the north, so we'll have much, much deeper soil to grow in here. And now I'm finding a couple Miyoga ginger root runners as a side bonus, and even a persimmon tree. So I'll just heal those in somewhere out of the way in a little bit. Into the chicken yard to find some different ingredients to build this compost system. This is some really piping hot material in this area. That far end is good finished compost, so I'm going to dig into that as well. The first containers will be the most coarse material. That'll go at the bottom for aeration. And then we'll dip into this really thermophilic pile that is steaming, probably 140 Fahrenheit in there. You can see just so much snow. Such a beautiful late winter morning here. Hazelnuts in flower, and our cattle panel structure's holding up to it all. So I'm using the sled to transport raw ingredients. Grabbed a little bit of hay and a couple mixed crates of various material to start the compost building process. Of course, the hens are very, very interested in it. One last inspection before the train departs. And snow makes it easy to move material. Yeah, so we've got coarse stuff at the bottom, aeration and opening. Then, just like with the other piles we've made, lots of hay in between layers for insulation and buffering. And each sled full of material gets us a little further along, trying to mix really piping hot raw compost with a bit more of a wood chippy compost, and it's steaming up already. I can harvest some of the walkway to throw in as well, since that's a bit more aged and has lots of charcoal, and that soil will go into it as well. Here we're dipping into our massive wood chip pile that's inoculated with red wigglers, so we'll get wood chip, red wiggler, and some heat from that. And you can see dumping that stuff inside the cattle panel, it's already generating enough heat to warm up the metal and shed snow just from the heat inside. Some dried leaf bags for more carbon and aeration and buffering, and then some more layers of wood chip and raw compost to mix together. A little more soil on top. It's coming along nicely. It's like a very, very thoroughly layered system of compost. Another container or two of chips in the home stretch here. More melting. It's amazing how fast the heat starts to activate in here. This might be the last container's worth, or sled's worth. It's amazing how much material I thought I took out of this winter run, and yet both sides are just about still completely full. Got more experiments to do, more material. They're almost helping. It's in the home stretch and lots of warmth building up in here. And now we're getting ready to cap it with that final layers, going into more and more mellow, balanced material. And a layer of charcoal to filter, which I think will be a nice bonus there. A little more soil. And then capped with 4 to 6 inches of really aged compost from the far end of our chicken's winter run. And this should give us an actual seed planting bed that will have bottom heat and filtration. A little bit of paper just to kind of keep the heat in for a day or two. And a little low tunnel to keep the heat in while we rest. So we'll come back to this in a few days and see how it is evolving. 2 days later, the dogs are enjoying this weather. I guess I'm trying to enjoy it too. It has definitely moved back towards winter. March is amazing at swinging back and forth in this region. But anyway, pretty cold. Definitely frozen out here. You can see some ice on the plastic, but a little bit of moisture. And let's see if this is starting to create a little bit of warmth. It's neat to see all the transplants worked out. I forgot to water them. I just ran out of bandwidth. Plus, it's also pretty cold out there. But these are all transplants without any watering. The soil has enough moisture, and I guess it's cool enough, and there's not a lot of sun. So that's pretty helpful. And certainly no frozen soil in the average area in here. Of course it's not frozen on top of this compost, but it's also not steaming. It doesn't smell bad at all. I don't really smell anything. It's very, very subtle, if at all. So I think all of the charcoal, all of the carbon, and the deep layer of compost on top is absorbing everything in a really nice way. The air temperature in here is around 40 Fahrenheit, or what is that, about 4 centigrade. I'm just going to randomly choose a spot and see. Moving up, different picture than in the high tunnel at our neighbors. It's creeping up, it's not flying up. And in a way, this is actually, to me, very sweet, pretty ideal. Looks like it'll move to around 80 or 90. We haven't added any moisture to this. And my thought was, once we seed this all out and we start watering those seedlings, that'll be the trickling water needed to activate the different layers. The fact that there are dry leaves and dry hay, to me, is a benefit because it means we can activate that later and have more waves of warmth coming up. I actually think I like this more than what's happening in our neighbors. It feels more subtle and balanced and relaxed rather than aggressive and steaming and wow, big numbers. So I think that's it for this video. Let me know if you got any questions or suggestions. Probably next time we meet on this front, it'll be sown out to a various range of summer crops directly into this soil. I'd love to see if that can work. Thanks for watching.